So not only is it Lee Carsley's first home game in charge of England, it's also Harry Kane's chance to pick up his 100th cap for the Three Lions. And he was asked how he's reflecting on making that huge international landmark.
Yeah, probably the last couple of days, even more so. Obviously, I weren't sure if I was definitely going to play both games. But now I know I am. I think, it is a really big achievement. I think sometimes even me, when you're in it and you're just, you're thinking about the next game, you're thinking about the win, you maybe forget how big these things are, and I've been reminded by a couple of the staff here how big of an achievement it is, and I think it's important to celebrate. To have my family, to have my kids there, and even if it's not definitely only tomorrow, I think looking back at those pictures or those memories are really special for them as well. So it should be a good celebration. But with all this, there is a game to be played as well. So that's where my main focus is, and I think if we win. Then after the game I can really have a good celebration with my family and friends.
What do you remember about that first cap against Lithuania back in 2015?
Yeah, I still remember it like it was yesterday. I mean, it was one of my best moments, one of my proudest moments in an England shirt. I remember waiting for ages to come on the pitch because the ball didn't go out forever, and come on for Wayne, obviously a big idol of mine, and then Wembley, got a great reception at Wembley. And then, before I know it, I had a couple of touches, and then I was heading one in at the back post and just celebrating, and all those emotions coming out. And that was just a really special night, just to be at Wembley and have my family there, and almost just as you dreamed it, coming off the bench for one of your idols at home at Wembley, scoring a couple of minutes later. It's almost like a film script.
Troy, you mentioned it earlier on that Harry Kane has done the hard graft. He went out on loan when he was at Tottenham and went to the EFL with Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich, Leicester. He was on the bench for Leicester when you scored that infamous playoff semi-final goal.
Yes.
When you consider, and I don't know if you would have seen much of Harry Kane back then, but when you consider where he's got to now, did you really consider that he would become one of the best strikers in the world?
No one did. I think everyone would be lying if they said they did. He wasn't very quick. He wasn't strong. He was like what we call okay at everything. You didn't give him a super strength, and he worked at it. And I think he would say that he worked and developed his body, his mind, and his ability to score goals from different angles with both feet. And he's created himself to be the best version of him. And 100 caps today for him and his family is massive, and it is not something that comes around every year. And we have to be a little bit more gracious, I think, appreciating what we've got. We always give somebody their flowers and their credit after the fact, but it's too late. Let him enjoy today. He'll score today, and he's on 66 goals. He's probably eyeing up 100 goals before he retires. So fair play to him. And just looking now, we've got it on the screen here. The next available striker that we've got next to him is on 4 with Ollie Watkins.
Yeah.
That's how much of a drop-off we've got before he comes in.
Massive difference.
And I know we've got Harry Redknapp coming up, but I'm sure he would tell you as well when Harry was in charge, and I'm interested to see what Harry thinks. But did he think that Harry Kane would be like this? I think he was being honest. I don't think he would at the start.
Well, let's ask him, shall we? Because Harry, of course, was at Spurs when Harry Kane was coming through. Morning to you, Harry. How you doing?
Natalie, Troy, good morning.
How are we, legend? You okay?
I'm okay, Troy. I'm all good. Yeah, thanks. Good. No, I agree with what Troy was just saying, 100% there. He was a young player. We felt he would be a player, but at what level? Even then, we couldn't sit there and say, well, he's going to be a Premier League player for sure. He's going to be good enough to play for Spurs. Tim Sherwood and Les Ferdinand, who were working with him, they had great belief in him, but even they would have, no one could, who could ever envisage that he'd go on to get 100 caps and be what he's become. It's because he was a good, as Troy said, a good all-round player. You thought, is he quick enough? Is he this? Can he do? He was good at, he was decent at everything without being fantastic at anything. But he worked and trained. He was one of them boys that every day after training, he was out on the training ground. He'd put his spikes on, do sprints, and wanted to get quicker and getting up. Yeah, amazing, and a good lad. He deserves all what he's done. He's been fantastic.
Yeah, and we're all looking forward to celebrating the 100 cap for him tonight. Do you think, we've been talking about legendary status and whether or not he's earned that already. We've had real mixed reviews on that this morning. Some are saying, yeah, he's definitely a legend. Some are just saying he's not quite there yet. He's not world class. He's a great, but nothing more. Where would you stand on that, Harry?
Yeah, I think people are, when you talk about people who are great players at their clubs, you say, yeah, he was a legend. And please, I'm not blowing, smoke at Troy, but he would be a legend at Watford.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he'd be a legend there. That is. If you speak to people, they'd say, yeah. And people who have great careers at clubs, that's how you talk about him. You say he's a legend, at whatever club he was, those special players that have great careers. So I would certainly see Harry Kane as a legend. Yeah, I do. I know I heard someone earlier say, the 66 World Cup team, they are absolute legends because of what they did for us and for the country to win the World Cup. But Harry's up there. Wayne Rooney's a legend. Shearer's a legend. There's so many, aren't there? Bobby Moore was obviously a legend. And Jimmy Greaves was a legend at Tottenham. And so, yeah, there's lots of lads that do deserve to be called legends, and he certainly is one.
Yeah, Harry, I'm with you. I think we have to just start saying modern day legend. I think when you start going back to 66, it's like,
of course, yeah.
Not many of us were around to even see that or witness it. So I think I would call him a modern day legend. I just wanted to get your opinion. Yeah. Obviously, you've worked with some fantastic strikers. Jermaine Defoe, Keane, Berbatov, the list is endless. Where would you put Harry in that list now in terms of if you were comparing?
Right up there, Troy, right up there. As it's just his goal scoring, his all-round play, everything about, he's the full package, isn't he? He makes great passes, he links play, he plays good in the air. He does everything really, and I think he's right up the absolutely top level. And as you said earlier, look at the drop off if he doesn't the goals he scored, and if he doesn't play for England, then when he goes to replace him, he's going to be, at the moment you can't find a number 9 who is going to come in. Ollie Watkins has done well for sure. I like Ollie Watkins, but there's no one that quite jumps out at you at that level that Harry Kane is at. When he finishes, or if he got an injury, I think we would really struggle to replace him.
Do we have to look at, when you look into the World Cup now, do we have to look at building a team around him as he gets older? He's got the goals, but he might not have the legs as it continues. Do we now, as a manager, do you start looking at players that will suit Harry Kane's style, or does Harry have to come out to allow for the younger ones to come through?
Well, yeah, I don't know where the younger ones are, Troy, at the moment. There's no, you might have to look to play differently if you ain't got a number 9. Yeah. And as you said earlier, look, now there was sort of not a dying breed, but there's not many around anymore. There's not that centre forward that leads the line and does everything. You might have to play differently. You might, like Arsenal, people keep saying, well, Arsenal need they need a number 9. If they could get a centre forward, they'd win the league. But they don't have. Where do you find one? Who's around? Haaland, Kane. After that, where are you looking to get someone at top level? There's no one jumps out at you. So Arsenal play a different game. They, Havertz plays up there and they get lots of movement, and you might have to, that's how you'd have to play probably with England as well. You'd have to try to, there's other ways of playing now, it seems, without playing the traditional number 9. Yeah. I love a number 9 who's, who's centre forward, the focal point of your team, can score goals, lead the line, And you do wonder when you look at today's modern game how some of these centre halves would have coped against the the real number 9s in our day. How would they have coped, I wonder now, with a whoever, Mick Hartford or someone, or
get bashed about, mate. That's what it would
or
be.
Fashion. Could you imagine them going to Watford now? On a Tuesday night and getting an elbow in the gob? It'd be very different, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
One thing we can say about Lee Carsley is he, with his under-21 side, adapted players. Anthony Gordon was the sort of striker in that role, and that's when we're talking about the modern day players can be a bit more versatile. versatile. They can play like the false number 9s, for example. So, Harry, just to get your thoughts on Lee Carsley, then that first game in charge, winning 2-0 against Ireland. What did you make of it? What do you see that he can bring to England that perhaps has been missing?
Well, we've got a good group of players. I think the most what I liked most on the weekend, I felt that he played Jack Grealish in his right position. I like, that's where I think Grealish. I obviously listen. Pep's played him out there, and I'm not arguing what Pep does. You can't really, can you? But I do think that Grealish, when he plays on that left wing, he gets up so far and he's quite predictable there, and he's still a fantastic player. But I think when he plays it, inside like he did Saturday, I think that's where he's at his best. And I was pleased to see him playing in there like as a 10, But we have got some great young players, and it's someone somewhere has got, we've got to win a tournament someday, surely, with this group. There's not a better group anywhere, probably. It's only Spain that would, at the moment, you look round, I think, well, other than that, there's not too many countries that could compare with us in terms of quality. So he's got a great opportunity. I think he'll get the job. I think he'll go on and win these games in this Nations League, or whatever we call it. He'll get through that. And, it ain't the Finland at home until, not exactly difficult games.
You'd have liked them, wouldn't you?
Unbeaten.
You'd have liked them.
Yeah,
you'd
like them games, wouldn't you? Yeah, you think that'd do. But so they go on a run, and I think he'll get the job, because I think Eddie's in at Newcastle. I don't know where, I don't see Eddie at the moment. Who knows in football, but Eddie would be the first choice. Eddie Howe, to be honest, it'd be my choice of the people that are around. But I don't know whether he's going to get it, or at the moment it's going to be available to him. So I think Lee's in charge. He's got the jersey. I think he'll win the games. I think he'll end up getting the job.
Brilliant, Harry. Thank you for sparing the time.
Good talking to you guys.
Appreciate it.
Always great to chat to you as well. That was Harry Redknapp, and we're asking you this morning about whether or not Harry Kane is one of England's all-time greats. 03 717 223344. That's the number to call us on. This text says, Harry Kane, you don't get to 100 England caps without having something about you, which maybe is a suggestion that we're talking legendary status.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.